what would you advise a young leader just starting first leadership job?
In your first leadership job, you're really not a leader.
Yeah.
You're a glorified manager. So I think what I'd tell anyone first is to just develop the right skills. Leaders must start to be human or must start to portray humanity. So I think that leaders must work strongly to ground themselves, to lead themselves. In
Africa, we need to have a critical mass of good leaders who can offer opportunities to the young generation.
I think, like you're saying, there's a lot of fixation on this theory. So the question is, what is the right leadership? What should we be emulating?
Yes, because I used to take the analogy of a chameleon, because the chameleon is able to have a 360 view on things, to read the context, and the chameleon is not changing the color because of to conform, but to communicate.
I wouldn't say there would be a specifically a leadership style, unless I was reading the Mandela book, and I could see how he changed consistently. He almost looked at his situation and changed his persona, changed his thinking.
Exactly.
But now we celebrate him only at the very end. So if we were to use that only as a metric of his leadership, then we'd lose the essence of the man.
Welcome to UONGOZI Podcast. Leadership Essentials for Young African Leaders, where we try to get clarity about what leadership is and what leadership is not, inviting people who know what leadership is, help young African leaders get clarity and being effective leaders. I have today Mary Kinyua.
You got that right.
Thank you.
Good job.
And who is Mary?
I'm a leader in the corporate space.
Yeah.
I'm also a coach, but also a mother.
Yeah.
Of two.
Two.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me more.
So generally, I trade in the area of human resource governance.
Yeah.
I have about 21 years of practice.
21 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm an executive coach, which is the part I actually enjoy more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the practical part of being a leader, being a female leader in Africa? Because what I've seen is young African leaders, they operate under constant pressure to succeed fast. Yeah.
I don't think we have pressure to succeed fast. I think that our environment lends the opportunity to succeed. Africa is growing as a market. There are a lot of opportunities. So I believe because of our nature, there's quite, what could I say? We're quite aggressive, I would say. And that the opportunity then lend themselves, then automatically most young people are finding themselves in leadership positions. So so it's a mix of opportunity and also just the nature of the people. Also, you'll find a lot of Africans, or I would say Kenyans, are quite well educated, therefore they are in good position also to get these opportunities. So that's ideally what I'd say. So the pressure is more from the macro than it would be from the individuals.
Can you tell me more about the pressure? What type of pressure it is and how people relate to the pressure?
So first off, most leaders are having to come in because of a need. So for example, a business is acquired, although the leader might have been maybe the best technocrat, now then there's a requirement for leadership. And that requirement then requires also institutional knowledge. So it's almost that you're at the right place at the right time, perhaps without the right qualification or skill, but you are there. So then you're now required to move into that position. So I think the pressure is that it is not a preparation. So for example, if you think about the Toyotas of the past, or the PwCs of the past, where they create management training programs and develop these people with a view of leadership in the future, there's no longer, the lead time has become narrower. So then there's no time to develop the skills, but the leaders are still required, because of the growth and because of the requirements. So I feel the pressure is more because, like I said, very little time, but the requirement for leadership or the hunger for leadership in the corporate spaces.
Okay. So, time pressure?
Time pressure.
Okay.
Time pressure, yes.
Uncertainty?
So for the leader already who is now the leader, of course they're going to have uncertainty because they were not prepared for it.
Yes.
They find themselves there. And now first power comes with responsibility, etc., etc. So they will start feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like I said, opportunity, there's quite a lot of opportunity. We've got quite good skill levels in countries or in Africa, I would say. So they really will complement each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you, let's say, define leadership? Because the question is, I've seen a lot of, I don't know, definitions, empathic leadership, servant leadership, and all this stuff. But at the end, leadership is just clarity about the principles, the context, the task, the responsibility, and it's a practice. Yeah. And I know that context is key for you. Yeah. Why it is context key?
So first, I think leadership is defined by the context. So a leader in one context might be totally a different persona or carry a different persona or carry a different way of work than they would carry in another context. And it's because leadership is about followership. And followership is as varied as the number of followers or the kind of followers you have. So if you're leading in the political space, there's the followership that requires particular leadership. If you're in the corporate space, there's a different followership also. So I believe that leadership is contextual.
Yes.
There's no one that fits all. Also, this is when now the leader's ability to be aware of the context is important. And I must say, I have fallen prey to not reading rooms and of course paid dearly for it.
Yeah.
But in general, the leader must consistently realize that their strengths will be applied differently to every situation for them to get the best out of the situation.
Yes.
Yeah. So perhaps a leader who's very strong and decisive in a particular area might need to slow down, for example, in a particular other area, etc. So I believe this is now where the scale of leadership is honed, where especially the person is able to understand what context am I operating in, then what person do I need to bring to this particular context.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means first to step back, read the context, feel the context, understand it in order to shape it.
Yeah, and I recently was reflecting on even the recruitment of leaders. The recruiters or the boards, for example, or the leadership that sits should also always consider the context of their environment before they recruit. Because you might want a very technically sound person, but you have to have the culture in which they're coming into very clear. So you could have a very good salesman in one organization, it becomes terrible in another. Similarly, you could have a very good leader in one organization and they become terrible in another. So I feel like even the people bringing in these people should be honest enough to say, this could be the Rolls Royce of this particular field, but our situation doesn't want a Rolls Royce, it just wants a Peugeot. Not that it's any less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that means having an understanding if this is a team in the growing phase, or do I need to stabilize it? Do I need to size it down?
Correct.
Yeah. What type of people are in?
Yeah. But I think also the context is people, but also the context is the infrastructure.
Okay.
Right, that you operate in. So you could have people who are versatile or agile, but the infrastructure itself, for example, bureaucracies, doesn't allow this agility. So you're almost fighting against the system, the leader. So the context is both.
Is both.
Yeah.
So that, but also the internal context of yourself. Yeah. So.
And I think that you achieve with time when you are able to choose. What context you can place yourself.
Yeah.
And again, the importance of understanding the context even maybe before you take the assignment, and then being honest with yourself that this context is not for me.
It's exact.
Uh-huh.
It's a choice.
And the moment you make that decision, it becomes easier than going in and then trying to almost run with the tide or against the tide. So the best thing is to say, okay, but I believe the choosing or the ability to choose comes a bit later. And I guess you find more seasoned leaders later when they've already gone through they've
learned the lessons.
They've learned their lessons. They know where they excel,
Yes.
which areas they don't excel in. For example, I believe strongly most leaders excel where the governance structures are in place.
Yeah.
And that people say the same thing and do the same thing. So a leader who then would not be able to get that structure might get challenged. So again, it means that the leader, before they put themselves in that context, they'll ask, is the governance structure here, right? And would I put myself in it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said it's also about not only the leader, but also the led. It's a relation. Yeah. What do you think the people you lead, they expect from you?
First of all, I think the way leadership has been cast, the way it's been cast to the world, is you're special, you're better, you're...
Yes.
And I think that's what we must calibrate.
Exactly.
Because leaders actually... first of all, leadership is a very heavy yoke. It's a very heavy yoke. Yeah. And leaders must start to be human or must start to portray humanity. And I think that is in simple things like, saying when you do not know, being comfortable with, I don't know.
Yeah.
Being comfortable with, let's work together around this instead of, I will give you the solutions. And that's why I say each context then will require a different manifestation of this. So being able to allow people to bring their ideas even when you think you have an idea or exploring, etc. So I think that might change what the led start, how the led start seeing leaders, and maybe makes it a little bit easy for a leader then to lead, instead of knowing that the expectation is that they are going to be the ones bringing the solutions to the table.
But especially in the African context, where 1/3 of the led are going to be, let's say, Gen Zs. I had yesterday a discussion with a young lady from what we call Gen Zs, what they expect from the leader. And she said something saying guided autonomy.
Yes.
Yes. So that we think, okay, they do not want to be guided, but she started by autonomy and then she guided.
The appreciation that they still need that support.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think generally that's a balance.
Yes.
Because even as a leader, it's good to let them be. But then how far is letting and how far is guiding? And I guess with time, with teams, you can start to different. But even within those teams, you'd find some wanting guided autonomy, others wanting total autonomy, others wanting guided guidance, not autonomy at all. So once you suss out the team, you will know then which one to behave with. Yeah. And that's where the situational and leadership comes in.
And when you look at leadership being contextual and then relational, and relation is based on trust and credibility, and being authentic. And part of being authentic starts with being comfortable with your origin.
That's correct. I have a view about authenticity. I think the way it has been posited is you've got to really be yourself, which I think can go catastrophically wrong.
You need to know yourself first.
Yeah, I think it is knowing the kind of person you're bringing to their self or to the environment at the time. So you cannot say, I'm an angry person, therefore I am authentically angry in this situation. Yeah. So there's that. But I think as a person, for you to lead, imagine leading people like different human beings.
Yes.
You must have led yourself.
Yes.
And that leading of self is what creates the comfort or the security to lead others, to believe strongly that others can follow your lead.
Yeah.
So I think that leaders must work strongly to ground themselves to lead themselves, to make sure they're comfortable with themselves first. Therefore, insecurities become a little bit lesser. So you're not competing with the people you're leading. You're not fighting against them. You just see yourself really as a steward. And the way to steward is really to just know yourself. You know your place. You don't exalt yourself beyond yourself, etc. So I think that is really where we need to all aspire to be.
Yeah. So first, it starts by knowing who you are, your different parts, knowing your strengths,
Correct.
accepting them, knowing your weaknesses, accepting them. What else?
I think first, finding a community. Very big on tribes or communities, people who walk around you to always remind you you're not crazy. Those are very important. But also people you can go to in honesty and say, this is my area of struggle. How can I overcome it? Communities that keep you grounded. Okay. And when you talk about feedback, of course, all feedback is good, but feedback from your community, people who care enough to tell you truth in also while offering grace, usually is very good. Also, just practices of self-care. Whether it's exercise, whether it's eating well, resting well, can actually support you to walk into the world with much more grace.
How do you do the grounding with your community?
I think it's different things. My different communities bring different things. So I've got communities that I rely on for my parenting. Some communities I rely on my health. There's communities I rely on for corporate support. So it depends on what is ailing me as a person at a particular period. But I also keep quite connected to the communities consistently. So it's almost another full-time task. But if you invest well, you actually get quite good rewards.
So regularly, for example, to go be connected. What I used to do in Germany is that I used to travel back to my village just to recalibrate, visiting my grandpa's grave. 15 minutes, and after that I just feel re-energized. Spending time with my friends, just eating mango somewhere, just having the flavor of it, and then coming back to the.
It's similar. It's exactly what I'm saying. It's the same thing in the different circles, just connecting. But now at least it's even easier. You can have phone calls. You can have video calls. So. It's that's what I would do.
Apart from that, what would you, let's say, advise a young leader just starting first leadership job? How to move forward the next 30 days?
So first leadership job. Let me remember my first leadership job. So the first leadership job, you don't actually know you're a leader.
That's a good one.
They give you a title.
Yes.
It's not very clear, And of course, at that time, you're really trying to prove yourself. And you really, in your first leadership job, you're really not a leader.
Yeah.
You're a glorified manager, So I think what I'd tell anyone first is to just develop the right skills. So at that level, at first level of leadership, you're still a technocrat. You're still required to know your core job. And that is how you continually then start earning the trust of your peers. Because remember, especially if you come in as a leader from down, you are with the rest. So you're now starting to differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
However, really seeing yourself as a steward from the beginning. Remembering that there's nothing special about you.
Yeah.
And that you just have been picked as a steward. I think that, if nothing else, stops your hard head from growing. And it really helps you to continually stay grounded. Leaders also must see themselves as juvenile. Like they must consistently learn. Yeah, it has to be a lifelong venture, to learn. You have to take a childlike mindset, to always ask, what can I do? How can I do it? I remember when I first led, there was a lot of information that was missing. We weren't actually in the AI age. And I really sought out people, tell me what you do. How do you do it? I was always curious. And then after I got from the interaction, I used to wonder, is that it? I thought it was more, So with time, you actually realize, you start then collecting all the information you have and trying to use it for best. But always challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Why was I picked? There must have been something about me that caused me to be picked. Therefore, what that is. Avoid self-sabotage by overshooting your own strengths,
Yes.
Also really just, and I think one of my biggest lessons in leadership has been to look around the room. I think for me, because I came into leadership through the technocrat card, the technical card, it took me longer to read the room, right? So I lead as I do. I don't lead and look, but I've actually had to pay quite much for it. So now I actually breathe, read the room, and then, so it becomes easier as you move forward. And the mistakes are okay. But it's just then how you pick the mistakes and how you actually achieve.
How do you do it with reading the room?
So first of all, I think you have to be patient with yourself. Because leaders are generally high achievers. So they don't understand why you're twiddling thumbs. What is going on? But actually, you realize as you move up, you become slower. You have to become slower. You almost have to not be a super achiever. Super achievers want everything achieved today, if not yesterday. So you have to actually appreciate that not everyone is as fast as you. So if you take the adage of let's walk at the pace of the slowest learner, and the slowest learner is usually so slow you cannot understand it. So the way you read the room is just by slowing down.
Exactly. That's why it boils down again to being able always to contextualize. To read in order to reframe the context.
So I think if you look at like the 90-day onboarding book, it claims that within the 100 days of your coming into a new role, you should have shown some level of. But actually, you need the whole 90 days to read the room. So I think also the overachievers have to start managing themselves. But I think the way you come there is by creating some level of confidence in yourself. And the way that confidence should come is by grounding yourself. So it's
grounding again.
Grounding again, not being rattled quickly, knowing that you're here because you're supposed to be here, because it's the right place to be at the right time. Then that way you slow it. You don't have to rush anything. You have to just keep going. So I'd say it's the self, then the people, then the other infrastructure around.
What do you think? Why do some leaders lose authority? They start, let's say, being recognized, and then they become a little bit unpredictable under pressure, especially
under pressure. So I think people give a lot of people really watch leaders a little more.
Yes.
A little more than other people.
You can't hide.
So, and I feel you lose leadership just by being inconsistent. I used to say with my MD in a different organization, and I'd say, if you say we wear white shirts, wear the white shirts. Then all of us wear the white shirt. Don't tell us to wear white shirt, then you're wearing a blue shirt.
Okay.
So
yes.
I feel like leaders have to first make decisions. And once they do, or once they make the decision with their teams, they must follow through.
Yes.
And people notice when you don't follow through, when you don't say what you're supposed to say. And I feel for me, that's where the level of authenticity comes in. The person knowing, and just yesterday I was reading on the self-preserving leader. Right? The self-preserving leader first is the most indecisive leader you've ever seen. Because as you know, all leaders are actually risk takers. They're paid actually to take risks. They get better at taking risks or gambling, as you would say, but the house always wins, right? So because they're so self-preserving, they don't make the decisions. But when they do make the decision, they're not willing to back that decision to the end. So I feel everyone who works for a person like that will consistently, they will also self-preserve, or they'll not trust them. They'll not trust the leaders. And I feel like that's, for me, is big. It's just being able to know that, if we've agreed we're going north, we are all going north at whatever cost it's going to take.
So credibility.
Also just, just understanding, like I said, you're a steward.
Yeah.
You cannot ask people to go left and you're busy going right.
Yeah, especially under pressure, so that people can, let's say...
And I think under pressure, people want a leader who is sure,
Yeah.
because already we're under pressure. Already
Yes.
things are bad. You want a leader who is sure, even
Yeah.
if they're not. Even if they're not, we don't know that they're not.
Yeah.
We actually believe that.
Exactly.
everything is
So
gonna be okay.
so that means it's not just about the competence. It's
Yeah.
about being able to regulate under pressure. It means also self-leadership.
Correct.
Yeah.
It goes back to self. Yeah.
To awareness.
Yeah, it
Yes.
goes back to self. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why is it? I think it's not very clear to most of the leaders that self-awareness, self-confidence, leading yourself is actually the key for success.
Like I say, I think it's the way we come into leadership.
Okay.
No one says, okay, go to school, learn how to be a leader, then come and apply for a leadership role. It's just you get into it. You practically walk into the leadership.
Yes.
So because of that, which skill then do I pick now? Which ones do I pick later? And if you think about EI, emotional intelligence has just come into visibility recently. Maybe not recently, but in Africa and in Kenya, we are just adopting it. But we practice parts of this self-awareness without really knowing what it is.
Yeah.
In context,
Yeah. And I think also it's about relearning to feel again the emotions. Yeah. So that's
For yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
So and then also to rediscover your body, because it's around your body that you read your emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also having the time. If you think about most leaders, they are busy.
Yeah.
Busy. And when you're busy, you cannot see anything. You cannot hear anything.
Yeah.
So finding that time to rest before you sprint.
Yes.
I actually saw a very good description of the lion. You sprint, you rest, you repeat. Sprint, rest, repeat.
So that's movement back and forth.
Correct. But also is the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, don't just sprint.
Yes.
You rest, then you repeat repeat it again.
That's a good one. Rest and sprint.
Yes.
Rest, sprint.
Correct.
So that's
So you're refilling and then going, refilling and going instead of just being out.
Yes.
Yeah.
As an engineer, I used to talk to my coaches, like, what is your state of charge? Yes, giving him the analogy of the battery.
Correct.
Because if you charge your battery, so you have to charge, you discharge, that is one cycle. And the phone is designed for 400 cycle. So after 400 cycle, dead. But you can't replace your body. So that means if at home, after work, you are just at 20% charge, it's how to get always at the level, full charge or at minimum 50%.
Yeah.
This awareness, so to rest, sprint.
Yeah.
That's, I like the
I saw it. I thought it was actually quite apt. Because like I said, leadership is quite a yoke.
Yeah.
There's a lot you carry, both visible and invisible. And you're not only a leader, you're also, for example, for me, I'm a mother, I am in the community, etc. So you carry quite a lot. And there's just a level of expectation that's placed on you. You're not allowed to just be... You're not allowed to just be, laying over. So you then need actually a place where you go back, whatever that is, whether it's a retreat center, whether it's a group of friends for lunch, whether you must find your rest, whatever that means, so that then you're actually able to come back and sprint with much more confidence.
Yeah.
Because, for example, and I always say, if I were to give you advice about health, I'd give you advice based on my status of health, right? So I would not be telling you go to work out while I don't.
Exactly.
So similarly, a leader will come into the organization with whatever they internally are going through, and they'll apply the same lens of what is going in through them. They'll apply that same lens to whatever problem. And one of my doctor friends says, if you go to a dentist and say I have a headache, they'll find that headache inside your dental. If you go to a ophthalmologist and say you have a heartache, they'll find that in the eyes, because that's their area of specialty. So their lens, the way they view everything in life is through that lens of their knowledge. So you as a leader, what is the lens you're carrying? Because it's most probably going to impact
Okay.
The way you see things.
So what you see is what you get. Yeah.
And you might try to project different, but what actually is the outcome would be exactly your lens.
How to step back and have, let's say, more a broader perspective.
Correct.
So that you are not just stuck into one angle.
Yeah, and that's where the learning comes in. So what is it about the situation that's more different? What is it about the situation that I should do differently? Yeah.
By learning, you mean also practicing.
Correct. Yeah, practice, going to find out more, what someone else seeing, watching models, asking mentors, what to do, how they've done this before, like really being curious.
Testing.
And curious.
Yes, curious. Like I mentioned, the beginner's mind. Yeah.
Child mind.
Child mind, yes.
Child mind,
Yes.
Curious. All children ask why, how, the annoyance, but if you think about it, actually it is the question. That is really the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means it's also about how to deal with fear. Yeah, because if you are curious, and then at a certain level you see the risk and you step back. Yeah.
Yes, as much as you can, of course. Like I said, leaders are paid to take risks, but also with time you get better at which risks you take.
Which type of risk.
Which type of risk? Yeah, you don't just keep taking risks. That
Yes.
don't get anything. So I guess with time, as you season yourself, you then start understanding what's risky.
Exactly. So understanding the different type of risk, the risk you can afford to take,
Correct.
the risk you can't afford to take,
But with loyalty to the mission, because again, you can say, I will not take the risk because personally, it's a personal, it harms me personally.
Yeah.
But the greater good,
yes,
so being also loyal to the mission so that the risk is aligned to the mission.
Exactly. Yeah. So that means it's also understanding that as a principle of leadership, it's about contributing to a whole system. Yeah. What is the total?
Correct.
Yes.
To the whole, yes. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So and then being guided always, putting the direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. Now, if you have these principles, you have the task, you have the self-regulation, you have the skills, you practice. What about responsibility?
What do you mean?
What is your responsibility as a leader? How is important for you to see that you have been responsible in what you do?
So I think for me, it's you're a steward. That's your role. Yeah. To consistently see whether you are advancing the whole. I think that's something you need to consistently reflect on. Because your responsibility is actually to achieve the whole.
Yeah.
So the question therefore is whether first you're achieving it, but second, whether there's something you can do to change the direction or to correct the direction. I actually feel like leaders should fear more, should stay more afraid. Because it really does help to remind you, one, that you're human, but also to help you analyze all risks. Towards the whole. But also to give you more courage. Because once you've really looked at everything, both with a pessimist and an optimist mind, then to just go saying, okay, I've done everything. I've done everything I would possibly have done under this condition.
But that means that it's another relation towards fear, not as a threat, but as an information.
Correct.
To be energized and to see there is something at stake.
Yeah.
And to be prepared.
Correct. Yeah, because that's what it should do, not make you run. It should at least give you much more awareness and also just show you the responsibility. So if you take a decision, for example, that closes a business, when you look at the multiplying factor on that, people who lose jobs, an ecosystem that is disrupted, suppliers, etc. So when you look at it that way, instead of looking at it at, what will happen to me, then it becomes a much easier conversation.
Yeah.
Right? And then you say, okay, maybe I will not avoid a total loss. Perhaps I can break down the loss or collaborate or partner, etc.
Also, how to communicate it to the people who are going to be affected, but also the people who are going not to be affected because they're going the journey with you next, to understand the why.
Yeah, in fact, the why is the most important. I think a leader, that's all you sell.
Yes.
I always say you never have to agree with everyone. And because if you are agreeing, then you're not a leader. Because I find people say, no, but she doesn't want to listen. But no. Listen doesn't mean I agree with everything you say. But you must be able to explain, articulate why are we doing what.
Exactly. Yeah.
The agreement is not neither here nor there, but why?
It's always to start with the dissents.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I find that once I sell the why, I don't have to really agree with you.
Yes.
But you must understand where I'm coming from. Why? Why am I doing what I'm doing?
Especially if you are communicating for change.
And you see, in business and in life, everything is changing.
Yes.
Even if it's just saying now we'll start putting papers on the left, not on the right.
Yes.
It might not be a big change, but every little thing is a change process. So, and that's what I always say, leaders need to stop being too agreeable.
Yes.
But they should be able to articulate
what is right.
Why are we doing what we do?
Yes.
Because first you must sell it to yourself. You must understand it yourself.
Exactly.
And then you should be able to now transfer that level of understanding at the same level.
Actually, that is a very hard work because to shape the why, to define it, to find it, you need to sit and work it through, understand that is the why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's also, let's say, a quote from, I think it's Heidegger who's saying that if you have a why in life, all the how and what can be easy.
Correct. That I totally believe, because I find that leaders are keen to agreeableness because they are short-circuiting this process.
Yes.
I do not believe agreeableness is a feature of the world.
No, it's
even AI disagrees with you. You say, hey, I've said this. They say, no, I think you're on the wrong path. So I believe it is really, and I think for you to articulate a why, you must have understood it enough for you to articulate it.
It's very important because to let's say, I remember, let's say, a situation as a director, head of director or vice president, we were, let's say, invited by our board, the founder, a very great guy, and we were reporting. You know how it's done. People just go, okay, you have 15 minutes, and then you define, okay, everything is peachy creamy, all the lights are green, yes. And then at the end we were 9. I said, actually, you didn't really do the job. Yeah. You can't tell me that in this company there is no problem. Yeah. Now we are going to stop the meeting and go and do your homework. So that trying to make people think that everything is okay.
Correct.
There is something wrong there.
Yeah, but that's boards appear quarterly, so
yes.
So your work, especially as a good CEO, is to really manage the board.
Exactly, and to listen to the people who are telling you, I'm facing challenges. That is where you can really grab something.
Yeah, and that's where you can be of help.
Yes, but now if you just rely on reports, then you are dead. So that means you need to be able to have your senses into the organization. Yeah. So to feel the beat and to see how is it connected to the why, to the whole. Yeah. How to do it without making your people feel bypassed or controlled.
So I think that's why we have governance, different levels. So at board level, we want perfection. Right? Only bring a risk to us. So when I sit in the board, I actually want to hear good things. Yeah. But then I want you, of course, to bring to my attention a risk that I should be aware of. At leader level, corporate leader level, then that's where you really want to go into the why and setting the why together and understanding and even challenging the why together. So I guess situational, contextual, understanding at what point you need to go in, at what point you just need to have the guided autonomy, and things like that. So I think it's a mix of the how. There won't be a one size fits all.
So that means there is no one fits all. There's no leadership style.
No, I wouldn't say there would be a specifically a leadership style, unless. I was reading the Mandela book, and I could see how he changed. Consistently, he almost looked at his situation and changed his persona, changed his thinking. Exactly. But now we celebrate him only at the very end. So if we were to use that only as a metric of his leadership,
Yeah.
then would lose the essence of the man,
Yes.
or the essence of a leader.
Exactly, because that's also a misunderstanding of what truly authenticity is. Because I used to take the analogy of a chameleon, because the chameleon is able to have a 360 view on things,
Correct.
to read the context, and the chameleon is not changing the color because of just to conform, but to communicate.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
That's
actually that's the perfect analogy, because chameleon is still there.
Yes.
It's the same chameleon, but
yes.
the color is just to show, okay, this is
Exactly.
the situation in this particular area. Yes.
And it can also rely on its strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah, just throwing the tongue,
Correct.
eating only insects, not and just honing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I think that is what I understand from you is important to start with the context, to read the context.
Yeah.
To be grounded, to have a routine of going back to communities in plural.
Correct.
Yeah. To be aware of that leadership is contextual, it's relational. So that's the relation between the people you lead and the led. And being consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being in constant practice and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I forget something?
Yeah, maybe just to add, I think there's a lot of, especially as you move into leadership, a lot of emphasis on politics.
Okay.
Yes. Organizational politics.
That's part of it, yes.
I have yet to master it or understand it, but I always believe that just like national politics, it's a very short strategy. It's a short strategy.
Yeah.
So what I would say to a young leader is don't listen too much about, don't think too much about it.
Yes.
And where it is rife and rampant, there's most probably no work.
Exactly.
It's not just about your survival. It's simply the business survival is based on that is their way of work.
Yes.
But in an organization that deserves good leadership, it is muted. Of course, there is a need for one or two interactions, but it is muted. So I feel like this is overemphasized. There need to be organizational politics savvy, but I believe it's actually one of the reasons why some of our organizations are struggling.
Unproductive.
They are struggling because now it's on all around political organizational politics and how you should do. So for me, I'd tell a leader, it could be the easier way, but it's a short-lived. It's a very short-lived way of moving.
So that means that's very important that you bring it, because that means that people need to learn to lead their boss and to learn to lead their peers.
Yeah.
The moment they understand what is needed from your colleagues and how can you support him and how can he support you, and how to support your boss, and not to underestimate your boss. So there's a reason why he's your boss.
Actually, I tell everyone, your work, especially in corporate, is to make your boss look good.
Exactly.
If you're not doing it, you're actually going to struggle, because you're not competing to be your boss. You're part of his team, and he's the leader of a team. So it is in your interest to really make him shine. Your turn is coming.
Exactly. That is I don't know, especially from people coming from academics. They tend to underestimate their boss. I tell them always, never underestimate your boss. There's a reason why your boss is your boss.
Correct.
Find it out.
Correct.
And help him be successful.
Correct.
And if he's successful, you open your chance.
Yeah. And I always say, I find people trying to sabotage each other, but there's enough in the world for all of us. And then also your work as a team member actually is every day to ask, how can I make my boss shine?
Exactly, because he's the one who is contributing to the whole. Correct. Yes, how can I chip in, help him be successful? And then if I help him be successful, he can move the ladder.
And then I can succeed. Exactly.
And he need to prove himself. So he will remember, I need a
team.
a team. Mary is there, even outside the company.
Correct.
So that's, and there's no need to politics, I think.
In fact, where it's, my belief is where that organizational politics is stronger. Then there's really nothing happening. So it's not for the very best. It's maybe for the ones who can politic.
In physics, it's called reactive power. So that is the power there, but it's not creating energy. It's just heat in the system. Yeah.
That sounds like a better analogy than mine.
that's. I tell the people, don't leave very fast your company, but if there is a high level of politics and your boss is corrupt, it's maybe the time to think about moving.
Yeah, to leave.
Yeah. And but it takes courage, not to.
Again, you go back to the person.
Yes.
The person knowing which situations they can put themselves.
Yes.
But I feel like if you're consistent, it still pays off.
Yes.
Because just being consistent in what you're offering.
Exactly. So being consistent, being trustworthy, and when you are trustworthy, then you build relation built on trust.
Correct.
And then there is a stable foundation, even under crisis.
Yeah, true.
So that's that is something that we wanted to address today, just to exchange about what really leadership is. That is practice, the daily practice. Forget about all the hype, all these fancy things. It's hard work, but it's rewarding.
Very rewarding. Actually, that's a good thing about leadership. It's a heavy yoke, but very rewarding.
Yeah. Now, why is it not so easy to find people like you hiding somewhere and not giving people, young African leaders, hey, here I am, because they need mentors. Yeah. Yeah. If all the mentors who really know what to do, how to do, and why to do it, if they are not visible, then we might end up with a big problem. Because in Africa, we need to have a critical mass of good leaders who can offer opportunities to the young generation.
Yeah, I think would be the definition of visibility.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's true. We really do need to give back and to offer ourselves back. And yes, I know you've challenged me about this before, and I'm working on it. But I guess it's just I think, like you're saying, there's a lot of fixation on this theory. So the question is, what is the right leadership? What should we be emulating?
Yes.
When we define, I was very impressed recently in a training in South Africa where you could see the trainers' passion for African contextualized learning.
Exactly.
And model of management and model of leadership, which are to save our continent and which are to do things different. So you can go to Silicon Valley, but bring the solution to Kenya. If you look at currently, the ChatGPT application was actually created here in Nairobi.
Yeah, okay.
And exported to the world. So the question is, what do we do as African leaders to get the best out of our continent?
Yeah.
So, and I understand this is the responsibility we carry. I guess the question is the how do we do it? And and I think for me, I have written a book, Emerging Leaders, a guide for emerging leaders. I write quite a number of articles.
A guide for emerging leaders.
Yes. You can find it on Amazon.
Okay.
I write a lot. I write my thoughts a lot on LinkedIn. I expect my mentees to read.
Great.
I am an adjunct faculty at the Strathmore Business School for myself.
Yeah.
I am on your podcast. So as much as I can extend myself, because my work is to really give back, is to really make sure that I extend myself. And you're right, in the leadership context, and especially in the leadership context in Africa. So yes, I continue being challenged and I continue thriving to do more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you wrote also a book about imposter syndrome.
It was about the imposter syndrome because, like I said, I wrote it during COVID when I called out for leaders to coach. Of course, we had a lot of time during COVID. And when I coached these leaders, some of the things that were common were just that inability to believe in self. They're already there. They're already sitting at the proverbial table.
Yes.
But they didn't seem to believe it.
Exactly.
Right? But when I inquired, coaches inquire. When I inquired, what I found was that they missed very basic fundamentals that then were causing them to rattle.
Yes.
Right? Because they felt like imposters, that they do not deserve it.
Exactly.
So it is to explore what is it, and because you might not be able to find what is it, is to start developing habits that help you to almost be confident in yourself. And I suggest grounding services, practices like what I've said, community, sleep, financial management, proper financial prudence, because he who holds the gold is the king, right? So if then you're so lent to the person who's holding the gold, it means when they say jump, you just ask how high.
Yes.
You don't have the ability to challenge.
Yeah.
Practices like just good health, sleep, especially scheduling.
Exactly.
High levels of scheduling so that you're not wasting time. It's the only competitive advantage we all have. All of us have 24 hours. None has more. Exactly. So if nothing else, you should win on that.
Yes.
Because then it is just how you maximize on that.
Exactly.
And it's very good now that we have AI tools. We can even do more. We can maximize our 24 hours to 48 hours.
Yes.
So I think for me, it's the little things that then allow you to walk into the world with a little bit more courage.
Exactly.
And allow you also to, even when you get heat, because that's the constant in leadership,
Yes.
then you can still wake yourself up because you have the tools that you need then to come around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that means really mastering the basics.
Mastering. And it's really going back to the basics.
Yes.
Sleep well so that you're well rested. Spend some time taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Meet the community that really nourishes you. Just hang out with the people who give you joy.
Exactly.
So that at least when you go to the world, you remember you're loved. And I think one of the phrases, and I wrote it on my LinkedIn on Friday, is that we cannot lead the unloved. And everyone seems to be unloved, So don't be one of them also, because then it means you can also not lead from love.
Yeah.
So that awareness that the world is wounded and you're called to lead the wounded world. I think that awareness should really, really cause you to go back to your basics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that means that's my personal definition of leadership is to energize others to meaningful results. So you can only energize other
if
people
you are yourself.
if you are.
You can pour only for fullness. And leadership is hard. That I can say. I know it sounds glamorous or it looks glamorous from outside, but it is hard.
And that is exactly that's what this podcast is about. It's just to put away these shiny, glamorous things. It's basic practice, understanding what leadership is, getting leadership clarity. Yeah, and I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you very
so
much.
that we really give our young African leaders the possibility to reflect, to take some of the reflections and to put them into practice. What we have heard here, that is something that also I'm going to put in a free webinar. Yeah, why leaders lose authority under pressure, and what are the strategies to fix it. That the link will be in the description of the podcast. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for
I enjoyed
having
it,
me.
and also
Thank
the
you.
TV.
Thank you very much.
Bye.